Welcome to Fact Ex Nova. Nestled deep in the Pacific Ocean, far south of the equator and about 4,000 kilometers from Australia, lies New Zealand, ranked as the world's second most peaceful country. Most of us, especially from India and Pakistan, recognize New Zealand for its cricket legends like Brendan McCullum, Ross Taylor, and Daniel Vettori. But beyond the cricket field, New Zealand is famed for its majestic mountain ranges, stunning lakes, and high-quality organic food. Historical insight. Did you know that the sweeping and majestic landscapes of New Zealand served as the real-world Middle-earth in the iconic Lord of the Rings film trilogy? Director Peter Jackson, a New Zealand native, chose locations across the country to bring to life the fantastical settings from J.R.R. Tolkien's famous works. From the rolling green hills of the Waikato region, which became the peaceful Shire, to the stark and misty peaks of the Southern Alps standing in for the Misty Mountains, New Zealand's diverse ecosystems perfectly captured the essence of a land filled with elves, dwarves, and hobbits. These films not only showcased New Zealand's natural beauty, but also boosted tourism significantly, attracting fans from around the world eager to walk in the footsteps of their favorite characters. Geographical context. Despite its resemblance to the UK in terms of climate, with mild summers, long winters, and substantial rainfall, New Zealand's population is less than 7% of the UK's. If you look at the map, about 80% of New Zealand is uninhabited, with 70% of its population residing in the North Island, primarily in the city of Auckland. Deep dive. The vast, untouched landscapes of New Zealand. But why is 80% of New Zealand empty? This question often piques curiosity, given New Zealand's scenic beauty and rich resources. The answer, however, is intricately tied to the country's remote location and its challenging geography. Geographically, New Zealand is isolated in the Pacific Ocean, positioned about 2,000 kilometers southeast of Australia. Its nearest neighbors are the Pacific Island nations spread over vast distances. This remoteness has influenced both historical population patterns and modern infrastructure development. The terrain of New Zealand is another significant factor. The country's landscape is dominated by rugged mountains, including the Southern Alps, which run almost the length of the South Island. These mountains, coupled with extensive forested areas, particularly in the more remote regions, make large swaths of the country difficult for extensive human habitation and economically challenging to develop. Historically, around 1,000 years ago, the Maori people, the original explorers and settlers of New Zealand, navigated thousands of miles across the Polynesian Triangle using only the stars, wind, and wildlife patterns as guides. They arrived between 1320 and 1350, discovering the North and later the South Island. Originating from the Polynesian Islands, a vast area of the Pacific Ocean that includes over 1,000 islands, the Maori found New Zealand's climate and land suitable for settlement. However, the challenging terrains such as dense forests and steep mountain ranges limited extensive settlement, primarily to coastal areas and some of the more accessible inland regions. These geographical and historical factors combined have resulted in a significant portion of New Zealand remaining lightly populated. This emptiness today is seen as an asset, preserving the natural beauty and ecological diversity of the nation, making it a haven for wildlife and a hotspot for tourists seeking untouched natural scenery. The less populated areas, especially in regions like Fiordland and the central North Island, are valued for their pristine condition and are often designated as national parks and reserves. This combination of isolation, challenging landscapes, and a focus on conservation ensures that much of New Zealand remains a land of natural wilderness, cherished both by its inhabitants and visitors from around the globe. Story time. Legend has it that a fisherman named Kupe was the first to discover New Zealand around 750 AD. He and his tribe faced challenges from a sea creature that kept stealing their catch. Driven by necessity, Kupe ventured out into the ocean, seeking new lands, and eventually stumbled upon New Zealand, abundant in seafood, sheep, and fruits. Historical conflicts. The tale of first encounters. In the serene and remote expanse of the Pacific Ocean, New Zealand lay undisturbed by the wider world until the 17th century. It was a land of lush forests, diverse wildlife, and a people known for their deep connection to nature and formidable warrior spirit, the Maori. But this tranquility was about to be disrupted by the sails on the horizon, marking the arrival of European explorers.
The first of these explorers was Abel Tasman, a Dutch navigator whose quest for new territories led him to the mysterious shores of New Zealand in 1642. Abel, who had sailed from Batavia, now Jakarta, was on a mission sanctioned by the Dutch East India Company to expand their map of the southern oceans. As Tasman approached, he and his crew were filled with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. They anchored off the coast, and not long after, the local Maori people noticed these strange visitors. Initial observations were cautious but curious. The Maori watched from their waka canoes, their eyes just as sharp as the European scopes trained on them. The encounter, however, soon took a grave turn. Tasman's crew attempted to make contact, but misunderstandings and mutual fear escalated quickly. The Maori, proud defenders of their land, approached the Dutch ships in their canoes. Tasman's crew, misinterpreting the Maori's traditional challenge as hostility, responded with cannon fire. A fierce confrontation ensued, where the Maori demonstrated their prowess in battle, staunchly defending their territory with expertly coordinated attacks from their canoes. Tasman, unprepared for such resistance and realizing the peril of underestimating his opponents, was forced to retreat. His initial encounter had been bloody, and he left the shores of New Zealand without having set foot on land, carrying with him the heavy lesson that these were not lands to be easily claimed. This marked the first European contact with New Zealand, a poignant reminder of the clash of civilizations, where the might of European gunpowder met the indomitable spirit of the Maori warriors. It was not until many years later, with the arrival of Captain James Cook, that Europeans would again attempt to engage with the Maori in 1840, leading to further conflicts but eventually paving the way to the Treaty of Waitangi, forever changing the course of New Zealand's history. These first encounters are emblematic of the larger story of European expansion, a tale of curiosity, conflict, and conquest, but also of resilience and the fierce will of the indigenous peoples to defend their homelands against the tides of change. Modern times. New Zealand's dairy and meat export economy. Today, New Zealand is recognized globally for its robust agricultural sector, particularly in dairy and meat exports, which play a crucial role in the nation's economy. The dairy industry alone generated nearly $26 billion in export revenue for the year ending in April 2023, accounting for about 1 in every 4 export dollars earned by New Zealand. This sector has shown significant growth, with a 45% increase in export value over the past 5 years, helping to bolster the national economy even through periods of global instability such as the pandemic. Dairy exports from New Zealand have been particularly strong, contributing $18.6 billion to the economy in 2021, representing 5.3% of the nominal GDP and 23% of total export values. A significant portion of this growth can be attributed to the New Zealand-China Free Trade Agreement, which opened up vast markets for dairy products. China remains the largest market for New Zealand's dairy exports, accounting for 35% of the total dairy export share in 2023. Other major markets include Australia, Indonesia, and the United States. The meat sector is also a vital component of New Zealand's exports, with red meat exports in 2023 valued at over 4.2 billion New Zealand dollars to China alone, making it the largest market for this product category. The success in these sectors is underpinned by New Zealand's focus on high-quality, efficiently produced products that meet strict environmental and animal welfare standards. Despite these successes, the dairy sector faces challenges, such as fluctuating milk prices and strict environmental regulations that impact production. Future growth in dairy exports may rely more on increasing the value added to milk products and navigating the complexities of global supply and demand dynamics. This combination of historical agricultural strength and modern economic strategies positions New Zealand uniquely in the global market, continuing to drive economic growth through its primary industries while adapting to new environmental and market conditions. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more fascinating facts about unique destinations like New Zealand, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications.